naga isse.
Yatta waka ni gon roni. Tata de wena da unga.
And there we are. Welcome back to another stream as part of our historical order run, where we play through a bunch of dozen of games in historical order. And today we're jumping back into AC3, now with teenage Ratonakidon. And yeah, 9 years have passed since he was just a little boy and seeing his village being attacked. In between that time frame, we started and played through about the first 4 sequences of AC Liberation, and also made a start on that game. But yeah, now the next missions in Liberation take place in 1771, so we're kind of taking a break from that game again, and now we're basically covering in those 2 years the full training of Connor from leaving his village behind to finding the assassins and beginning the training. So that's what today's stream is gonna focus on. Hello Verdex, welcome in dude, and good day to you. Hope you're having a nice one so far. You mean Goat Adile? The ultimate combination of the two. Hey, so we have an update here for Guts the Zero. Yeah, it's a bit of an update here. A crook code. That also works. Things about kicking butt and taking names of work we live in. That sounds like how to do things for sure, Dex. Glad to hear. That's how you do it. Gatsisia's actions during the Braddock expedition, along with her relationship with a known Templar, more or less excluded her from becoming a clan mother herself in adulthood. However, it seems even after her child was born, she continued arguing for actions in the war, rather than the restraint advocated by the village elders. She did, however, cut off all the contact with Haven. It isn't clear why the Templars attacked in 1760, or what their objective might have been. The village was nearly destroyed, but recovered over the course of several years.
Gats, ingeni tasteraya. Oyaner mongeni wanun doste edeni roroke tinohoda de dom ne ayogara we ori wage. Andi jatas wane edeni sto zeraroroke. Amado eneka ne toda jijatka tuni we ne ayedeni zi nakwa tsari.
The hatchet, also called tomahawk. Traditionally, the blade of an Iroquois hatchet was with flintstone. However, with the introduction of metal into Iroquois society, the hatchet became much more efficient and deadly. In the colonial era, hatchet modes were affixed with a pipe for smoking. That's so we have like quite a bit of information here on the Mohawk. But yeah, that's quite convenient, isn't it? You have a weapon and a pipe in 2. Like 2 in 1. Convenient. The war post. When an Iroquois village was to take up the war path, They sometimes held a ritual whereby the warriors would strike a large wooden post in the village to prepare for battle. The hatchet would be left in the post until the war was finished, when it would be removed. A war club is a traditional Iroquois weapon. Atop a long wooden shaft, large bow is carved around the notch of a hardwood tree, which is used as a blunt club against their enemies. Dude, Dex, thank you so much for the 100 bits, dude. Cheers for that. And, yeah, thank you. The wampum, or wampum, made with seashells found along the eastern seaboard, wampum was used amongst the native people of eastern woodlands. Amongst the Haudenosaunee, wampum made from the quahog shell would be refined into cylindrical beads and used to create belts and strings, which would be used as mnemonic tools that commemorate treaties, laws, and other important events, in addition to symbols of legitimacy or leadership. Hello Vashela, welcome in, dude. And good evening. How is it going today? And yeah, I'm doing quite good. Been having a good day over here. Pretty busy, but definitely good though. Nice, Shella, that's good to hear. Do you have any plans of gaming today? Longhouses. We definitely heard about this before. In AC Valhalla, a different type of longhouse. But we did also go ahead and, of course, visit this place in Valhalla when Eivor traveled over to, you know, America. To Vinland. So we've actually seen two kinds of longhouses in Valhalla. Aha! A chopper. Maybe the database will teach us about choppers eventually. Hello, Dr. Darling. Welcome in. And good evening. Ah, gotcha, Schiller. That's definitely fair. But that's cool, though. What kind of beta did you play? Of which game? In the times before European contact and up until the early 1800s, longhouses originally served as the living quarter of Iroquois people. Stretching between 40 and 200 feet long, longhouses were long rectangular structures that housed a number of families belonging to a particular matrilineal clan family. Along the inner walls were open compartments for each nuclear family, with a long courtyard in the center, which connected the two entrances on each end of the building. Two adjacent families would share one fire hearth at each compartmental increment. When the peacemaker brought the good tidings of peace and power to the Iroquois, he used the concept of a longhouse as the symbol of the political and spiritual union of the Iroquois Confederacy. The Kayana-Rekova, the Great Law of Peace, identifies specific geographically appropriate household roles for each of the 5 nations sheltered beneath the dormers of a symbolic longhouse. The Mohawks serve as the keepers of Eastern Door, the Senecans as keepers of Western Door, and the centrally placed Onondagas serve as the firekeepers while the Confederate business is transacted. Each nation has its own hearth, which symbolizes its own domestic government, while the rafters symbolize the laws of the League. That continues to extend with every resolution of a Grand Council of Chiefs. finish 4 games in 2.5 months, your backlog feels a little lighter. That's really good. Definitely, you know, getting that amount of games done. So which game was then that you finished? One of them I assume might be Silk Song? Ah, gotcha, Shilla. That's really cool. It's nice to kind of like have like a beta server, you know, like a test server, where you can, you know, kind of like check out some new additions to the game. I remember when I played League of Legends actively, there was also like a beta server that you could kind of like go on and, you know, test out some new functions. So if you kind of wanted to know about the meta and like changes, that was definitely a good way to prepare yourself. Ah, gotcha, Dr. Darling. Very nice, dude. That's definitely a good selection of games right there. So, what's next then? Have you decided what game you wanna play now that you finished those 4? Next is work. That's definitely fair too. I guess not quite as fun, but I mean, money is fun, I guess. The Cayuga Nation, meaning people of a swamp. The Cayuga Nation is a member of a Haudenosaunee Confederacy. Both the Cayuga and the Oneida nations are referred to as the younger brothers in the Haudenosaunee Grand Council. The Rotianee Chiefs. So it's Rotianee plural and Roania singular, and is generally translated as chiefs. Each chief is named after one of the original founders of the league when it was established. These leaders represent their clan and nation at the Haudenosaunee Grand Council. The chiefs also serve as leadership within their respective nation. Each chief is installed by a clan mother, who uses specific criteria to ensure he is qualified to assume this hereditary position. The chief is installed for life and is only released on account of merit, sickness, or death. The Iacotiana, the clan mothers. The clan mother is a female leader of a clan family. Aside from her social and spiritual roles, a clan mother is politically responsible for selecting a chief who would represent her clan family. She watches for potential candidates from the time these men were boys, looking for the special qualities and merit needed for this position of leadership, grooming them along the way. It has been said that Haudenosaunee leaders are not born, they are cultivated. A clan mother is installed for life and is only released on account of merit, sickness, or death. I was about to say you need UPS, Dr. Darling. You need like one of those delivery cars from UPS. So you can go ahead and deliver those parts to yourself. The Haudenosaunee clan system. The Kanyan Kahaka are a matrilineal society transferring identity through the mother's lineage. This extended family is called a clan. The Kanyan Kahaka have 3 clans: the Turtle clan, the Wolf clan, and the Bear clan. Family names and clans are passed down from mother to child. Each member of a clan is considered a relative regardless of which Haudenosaunee nation they belong to. For example, a Wolf Clan member of the Kanien'kehá:ka Nation and a Wolf Clan member of the Seneca Nation are still considered relatives. Likewise, the man and woman of the Kanien'kehá:ka Nation practiced exogamy, marrying outside their matrilineal clan family. Clans have specific social, spiritual, and political roles to play in Kanien'kehá:ka society, and is the pillar of traditional Kanien'kehá:ka governance. Within the clans of the Kanien'kehá:ka, all leadership members hold equal powers and are accountable to everyone. A woman leader called Iakoiana, or clan mother, holds a powerful leadership role in the nation and has the authority to select a Royana, or chief, to represent her clan politically. Moreover, she also has the power to depose her chief and replace him with another candidate. Taking into account all she knows about the candidate and his dealings throughout his life, she decides who is a good fit to represent the clan. Clan mothers choose men who are honest, reliable, and clear-headed, with knowledge of Kayanerekova, the Great Law of Peace. Amongst the Haudenosaunee nations there are 8 clans: the Turtle, Wolf, Beaver, Hawk, Eel, Deer, Bear, and the Snipe clans. The Kanien'kehá:ka themselves have 3 clans: the Turtle, the Wolf, and the Bear. You meant PSU, or did I? I assume that's what you meant. Yes. The Great Law of Peace, the Kayanerekova, is the constitution of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. These teachings outline the basic principles that unified the original 5 Iroquois nations into a powerful league, based upon the good tidings of peace and strength. The Kayanerekova also provides a complex decision-making methodology that is achieved through consensus building. In 1987, a subcommittee of the United States Congress officially acknowledged the influence of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy and the Great Law of Peace upon the US Constitution. That's good. The people of the Longhouse. Around 1,000 years ago, a long and bloody war engulfed the 5 indigenous nations that inhabited what is now known as Central New York State, Southern Ontario, Southern Quebec, and Western Vermont. In the west were the Seneca and Cayuga nations, to the east were the Kanien'kehá:ka and the Oneida nations, and located in the center of its territory was the Onondaga Nation. Then you have the Fire Nation and the Water Nation and the Earth Nation. But everything changed when the Fire Nation came. In the midst of this war, a messenger known as a peacemaker provided a path of peace, righteousness, and power that unified these nations and put an end to the bloody war. This union or alliance is called the Haudenosaunee, a Western Iroquois term that is generally translated as people of a longhouse. The Kanien'kehá:ka term is Rotenonsaunee, which means they are building an extended house. In 1722, the Tuscarora Nation was adopted into the Haudenosaunee, becoming the 6th nation of the Confederation. The foundation of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy is the Kayanerekova, the Great Law of Peace. This ancient doctrine provides an elaborate and efficient institution of democratic governance, social and economic stability, and a moral equation to achieve a personal and collective peace. The Haudenosaunee Confederacy is a constitutional democracy that is governed by a group of 50 chiefs who make decisions through a complex consensus building process. The Haudenosaunee Grand Council of Chiefs. is the central governing authority of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. The Haudenosaunee Grand Council is made up of 50 chiefs who represent each of the original 5 nations. Each of the 50 chiefs installed on the council is named after one of the original founders of the league when it was established. During debates of the Haudenosaunee Grand Council, the leadership are divided into 3 deliberating parties. The first party is made up of both Seneca and Mohawk chiefs. The second party is made up of both Oneida and Cayuga chiefs, including the Tuscarora chiefs. And the third party is made up of Onondaga chiefs, called the Firekeepers. As the facilitators of the council, the Seneca Mohawk chiefs present the standing issues to the chiefs of the Oneida and Cayuga nations, including the Tuscarora nation. Following a discussion amongst themselves, the Oneida and Cayuga chiefs shall formulate a resolution to the standing issue and return it to the Seneca and Mohawk chiefs for their consideration. The 2 parties shall then deliberate upon the standing issue back and forth in this manner until they achieve a consensus. Once both the Seneca Mohawk chiefs and the Oneida Cayuga chiefs come to one mind, the standing issue is then passed along to the Onondaga chiefs, who shall either confirm the resolution or offer a counter-proposal. It's quite impressive how much time they actually spent on writing all of the, culture aspect of the Iroquois. Hello, Vadobador, welcome in, and good day to you. How are things? The term Iroquois refers to a group of indigenous people who inhabited the eastern woodlands of North America, the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence River Valley areas, made up of Kaninkahaqa, Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca, Tuscarora, Huron, Susquehannock, Northern Iroquois, and Cherokee, Southern Iroquois people. The Iroquois share a common ancestry, social organization, economy, spiritual beliefs, and dialects deriving from Proto-Iroquois language. The term Iroquois is often synonymous with the Haudenosaunee or Iroquois Confederacy, a political league made up of the Kaninkahaqa, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca, and later the Tuscarora. Man, they're really repeating themselves here a lot. It's like every entry has a repetition of another entry. And even within the same entry, they repeat the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca. It's like, please shorten it a little bit. The Kaninkahaqa, meaning the people of the Flint. The Kaninkahaqa are an indigenous people who traditionally inhabit a territory that stretches northward from the Mohawk River Valley to the St. Lawrence River Valley, the Kaninkahaqa, and spans the geographic area of what is now known as New York State. Okay, honestly, I think we have learned enough here, because this whole part we have had already in other entries. We know who the Kaninkahaqa are. We know about the Oneida Nation. We know about the Onondaga Nation now. We do know about the Seneca Nation. This one we don't know. This one we can read. The Three Sisters. The primary economy of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy was horticulture, cultivating what the Haudenosaunee call the Three Sisters: corn, beans, and squash. The women of the village were primarily in charge of the community's economy and tended to the fields, while the men supplemented the economy through hunting and fishing. The Haudenosaunee economy figures prominently in the spiritual cycle of ceremonies, as the Haudenosaunee will hold Thanksgiving ceremonies to welcome and honor a particular plant or food during corresponding seasons. When George Washington wanted to neutralize the Haudenosaunee Confederacy during the American Revolution, he ordered General Sullivan to destroy every Haudenosaunee village, specifically targeting their cornfields, an act that earned Washington and succeeding presidents the title Ranatakarias, the Town Destroyer. Yes, he did do that. Which is why it's a bit funny to me that that's like a reveal that Haven makes to Connor about him, because it really makes it seem like, you know, he did have that reputation across the, you know, indigenous people who Connor was definitely in contact with.
Das ist zu Deutsch Scheiße.
So it's something that Connor should have known about without Haven's influence, really. Thank you for summoning the German decks. Raton Haketon rennt rasch rückwärts, rauf auf rutschige Regenrinnen, rufend, rasch, ruhig, rollen Regentropfen runter. Very nice. That was a good tongue twister. Alright, I think that about covers it here. It was quite a lore dump, rather. Well, it was a history dump, a culture dump. But it was a dump regardless. It's really cool though, you know, how much effort they put into it. And of course they work together with, you know, a society that is set in place to kind of protect the Mohawk and Iroquois culture. So I assume a lot of the information here actually stems directly from them. But yeah, they could have shortened it a little bit. Because there's a lot of repetition in there between what you're reading.
Wasqueni, ya soji the one to rehne wahi.
Oh, the gun is God's not the owner.
Ya,
Yeah, say it 50 times fast. Gotta redeem someone with German 15 times. I really like this part too, you know. The whole introduction, and I love that they use the Mohawk language the whole time. It really immerses yourself. And I really like seeing Connor, you know, and the way he grows up and, you know, being part of a village. It's like such a breath of fresh air, really. But I think immersion is quite big here with this part.
easy ona.
Yo, tenant the drowned in the Ayena.
Huh, zezak tinuwe yo zikunde. Zahaga yo yanere.
Yum Zaskats.
Nekti doni gari was tona yo tuhage. Nona ska guidene ne, the wasa gayeri ni hadi runungwe, kaa ta hunana dakwage. So knona askana nage ne, ta de watna neda. Iga gar hagunsu hunto ratu, kaa zage da ditaru. Garu ne zosera aska de wanyawa na hadihage. Yahte skari was ta yunki yakwa daze te.
Segon ino tumnes.
Ha, nekti zaha akta da hunenu haje. Te dum zohum jokna e de waire. Toga yaho tena tai de waire, toga yah tai de waderio. To arena zawane.
Tokniko hak. Wagerek the gari hunyani or near to the agerato.
Tigawanio. To agux yotti nakuni. Zaha gasto zeriohage diniotne oya.
Nexia tamdo era yedene de negahondage.
Yata diodum zohum unka e goderiandere wahi. How yungeni dogaski doga andeni gweni toya yedenewe. Ne dosa ya yedini rada ne unzage.
Now suggesting a floor's lava challenge.
Das kena gera.
Don't touch the ground or water. But yeah, this scene already revealed so much about, you know, Connor and his character. Or at this point, you know, Ratona Kiron. You know, some would say that he is quite pessimistic, you know, and of course, he had to, you know, deal with a very traumatic experience that, you know, he's also basing on the influence of the colonial people. And he's not wrong in assuming that's the case, because it definitely was. And yeah, he's really being realistic, you know, about the expanding influence of them and them not really maybe caring too much about displacing, you know, the people. Or, you know, involving them into like war efforts on either side of the conflict. Exactly, Dex. Yeah, it's great to see Connor kind of like grow up, you know, to who he becomes. He's very stoic as an adult, which a lot of people dislike, but not every character is gonna be an Ezio or Baek. I think it suits him well. Exactly, you know, I think people shouldn't expect every character to be like the same archetype. It's really good to have like different types of characters, you know, with their own personalities and their own unique experiences, which of course shape people. And I mean, you know, Connor growing up, you know, in this village in a completely different culture, and you know, living through the trauma of like you know, what happens to his village at an early age, you know, are two things that have like a massive impact on shaping who he is as a person. And yeah, plot twist, you know, he's not gonna be the charming Renaissance high wealth banking family, you know, Chad, who's you know, every lady's dream or whatever, you know. But that's probably a good thing.
It's
kind of funny how high pitched they sound. It does almost sound like they really just gave him like a higher pitch, like slightly in editing. Oh, you gotta be. Why didn't he jump? I guess I didn't run for long enough there. I paused for a second. Native American cultures is so cool. I was always very much into it. Like even as a kid. Of course, you know, as a kid I only really knew about it from like, you know, primarily like movies and stuff. But there's actually, you know, a lot of like even German produced movies being set in like the Wild West with like, you know, also a very strong like Native American presence and stuff. And yeah, I always kind of like liked it, like seeing it, you know. I wouldn't say that it maybe was the best at, you know, really authentically displaying its culture maybe. You know, it was definitely meant for like Hollywood-esque stories. But I was still, you know, really interested kind of like in the culture and learning more about it. So when this game was announced, I really look forward to this part of the game.
Nona and Denirata.
Zodzi one dore.
Onio ti isere zaha set satstege doga yacha sadatrede.
Nexi ohnayawan it doga antjada ne donogihe.
Doga oya wat ti nakunyanyo akta satkan zera.
Yeah, I think Connor's maybe a bit reckless. I think that's a valid concern from Ganon Dokon, you know, even if he's kind of like a bit of a scaredy cat. And it's further proven by the fact that, you know, Ratona Kedon actually falls down. And he luckily ends up falling into like a haystack by accident. I mean, to be fair, he
My old look.
did get attacked by an ego, but regardless, you know, like if you're stealing a feather from a nest, then you should expect the bird to return. Hello Vaniki, welcome in. You make your own luck today, is it? Good for you. I make my own dinner. I didn't make my own dinner fully today, but I made it in parts. Because Levi and I actually cooked together. Nice, Nikki, that's good to hear. I make my own bed.
Where is Charles Lee?
Nahoda, what got ni guruni?
Yatta wak kwenyo agwego yang gani haramge. Ga ga der harde zinora agwego an seroroge. But ga isere yat ga yeri zinigo yang gani. Tont for hardege. Ga ga da nan akta.
You make your bed in this economy? Preposterous. In the haystack, that's where Shards is. I like how Kanon Dokon almost has like a AC Valhalla moment there between Ivan and Eivor. When, you know, Eivor is falling into the haystack and doesn't reappear immediately. And the other person thinks, oh no, they're dead now. Dear God, the clan mother will have my head for this. Okay, I need one more feather here.
with us!
Can't tell me it's so far away. Jesus. That's the longest way just to get one feather. Indeed, Odin was with Eivor there to survive that leap of fail. Okay, I can't actually go there. Must be another feather here that we can collect. Parkour is just so damn satisfying in this game. Okay, there it is. So the reward for getting all the feathers is actually that you get this outfit. Only that you can use it permanently. However, since you're playing the original version of the game, there's not that many outfit changes actually as in the remastered. Like if you're using the default Connor outfit for instance, none of the dyes will actually be represented in the cutscenes. It's always gonna be the classic white and blue dye. Which is one of the annoying things in the original version of AC3. But I think as long as you wear like other outfit types, which this one would fall under, then it should be represented in the cutscene. But I still don't quite know why they did that, because any other AC game before that, if you had like a dye for your classic outfit, there was no issues whatsoever in having it, you know, be displayed in the cutscene.
I want to go into just Dante on.
Yeah, segu de dom zom mai deni wararo ke dano kanem.
I go here no want to take a direct way. Then it does 0 zuzi wa gare so.
Anguri hunya, kana dakta ezot kudina gerenyo, ton di jadora de. Dom zom yo snore am tayo kwate. Yot kwenya se kan heya de. Kaya danoru ne giga de ham tanega. Onek tia de waderi wa kwenyas tage ne sa oyera. Denak dotas aundas sade sanuni. Togan se sadovate ande wadu nege negari.
Okay, so the animal entries I won't read because they're not really, you know, I mean, in a way they're historically relevant, but not really, so I'm not gonna read up on those. I didn't also read up on the fauna in Black Flag. Just to kind of like focus the database a bit more on actual, like, you know, historical
Tanu yan wa do ratsira yan da ne.
Agua next is in what it's a
facts.
Ona on deni yan zere. Yo snore se wahra gwe tarungo. Skena sun a tanut kayeri. Yahta o waru kok tate za dohum zoni. Nekti ganehum oni. Toga danzas teriha on si daksa. Anguna dun hasse ona onio zi asat karhara.
Is Valhalla good for stress testing a new computer? It definitely isn't a bad choice. Out of the AC games, it's one of the more, you know, straining on the system. I would say Shadows definitely is more because it uses more like ray tracing and those kind of things. But yeah, Valhalla definitely, you know, can be a good benchmark test, I would say. Yeah, if Valhalla's like the newest AC that you have, then I would definitely recommend trying that one, for sure.
Jojera, tu onek tiyan se tsari zinume guja darorox ne gundirio. Tio sumagaru de, ti de watskan hunkwa, ti kahne gihrata. Zezak ne gayendere watrori zi unwak to dundundawarie. Hatskwi, mwasti de ham tanega ga a iweskwe. Hauki oya zijat karhara. Kanto zat karhara.
Kahkaniot.
Yo yanere, hau jade nyanda ne zaha gario dawana ye deniena, zini gariwe sugenir hare.
To idawes. So that's the nearest is a honor.
Ya, kaya gwire danu gahure au naya anga daksa de ne ganehum. Negi gas kaya da kesnu sage angats de zi anjena. Onak tiskena sun a ange. Toga oskenundu ayungeniga amadego. Takwa de rorok. Tawaga da hujo se au da geni gora di hatto.
When yes, the nearest you are serio. You yanere.
Ona deni roroke zino hoda de odum zohum. Au zejatka zera neyunt karharakwa.
Nikki can't wait until tomorrow. You're hyped as fuck. So what's tomorrow then? I punched a deer and I feel really bad about it. Actually, I don't. The deer was an asshole. It deserved it.
Timja tum zoni segu, nekti yatte zugini naktode. Onekti de deni zaru haja dorade. Toga idenere yatta edenokta.
Yatte wag der yan dare.
Kunye takwa, tazadade takw, ni nize.
It's really funny how Connor touches his belly there. Like he has to lose a few pounds or something.
Give me Lee!
Jesus. Apparently that deer knows where Lee is. Interesting. Hello, Oliver. Welcome in. And good day. How's it going? Alright, Foxies. Run into my trap, please. Okay, nice. Combine bait and snare to catch one of the animals here. Now we still have the air assassinate and we have to find at least one hare. Gotta get those early because the foxes actually hunt the hares. So if you're not fast enough, then there's a chance that you might run out of hares. Okay, nice. There's one. What the fuck? After air assassinate them before? Fucking hell. Oh, now it's... I have to restart the entire memory. I thought I had... I still could do it after getting 5 pelts there. That's annoying. I have to restart the entire thing. Hate when stuff like this happens. And you can't even like reload to a previous checkpoint because the next checkpoint has already been triggered. Also today that your PC will rise from Nikki. That's really cool. Yeah, definitely hope you know that you have lots of fun once it arrives. That scared you? Yeah. But also surprised me a bit there in that moment. Where is he? Where is Shardsley? Okay, we're just gonna skip the cutscenes then. Gonna speedrun this part now. Look on the bright side, you got to make new memories. That is true. How's it going today, Oliver?
Ho idawes. So de sanios niza ana.
Ja, kaya gwire danu kahure au naya anga taksa de ne kanehum. Ne gigas kayada kesnu sage angats de di anjena. Onak tiskena su a ange. Toga oskenundu ayungenika amadeko. Takwade. Noro.
Had a long day at work, just got home, bought some groceries. Ah, gotcha. That's definitely fair, but yeah, I hope that work went well, though.
Quenyes, the news tiwa serio. Yo yanere.
Ona deni rora ke dino hoda de odum zohum.
But it was a good day, nothing bad to say. That's definitely good, dude. Glad to hear that. As Ice Cube would say, it was a good day. Because I didn't have to use my AK.
Yama. Timja tum zoni sego, nekti yatte zugini naktude. Onekti de deni zaru haja dorade. Toga idenere yat da ide nokta.
Yatta wag der yan dare.
Kunye takwa, tazada detta ni nize.
I didn't want to skip that cutscene. Okay, now to combine the trap and the bait. And we still have to get a fox. Perfect. Oh yeah. Gonna go to work tomorrow on first day too. Brother thinks he's Tarzan or something. The only thing missing now is like using rope and stuff. Like plants to kind of like swing through the forest. That's how you hunt properly. That's the actual ancient or primal way of hunting. It's just outrunning the animal. Because, you know, humans used to have like insane kind of like endurance in comparison to like other animals. It was usually just, you know, thing of like outlasting the animal in terms of like, you know, hunting it forever until it's just exhausted. You appreciate the respect for the law and canon, even if Ubisoft doesn't. Hello there, viewer, welcome in, dude. And good day to you. How's it going? How are things? Nothing like the end of Rogue, where old Connor and his assassins ended the Templar power, even if Connor would have been 20 and Haven didn't even die for another 5 years. Yeah, you're not wrong there, you know, like Rogue, really, the writers didn't really know what they were doing, I think, at times. But yeah, that ending, you know, for Rogue definitely, you know, confirms that. Because, yeah, you know, like, it's really weird in the timeline, especially in the timeline order, because I've done this before. And then getting to the point of being like, you know, Connor's adventures are just really about to start there, you know. Like that whole memory happens in 76, which is like 8 years after this current point we're in. 7 years, sorry. And at this point, Connor's maybe like 14 years old or something. And I mean, AC3 goes on for another 6 years until 82. So yeah, his story is, you know, far from being finished at that point. To change the sentence to Connor is going to overthrow the Templars in the Americas, or I don't know, make a chart story in die in like 82, but then Arno would have been a bit older. I know it's always bothered you. Yeah, it really is an issue, you know, because Unity's story was already kind of like written down when, you know, Rogue was in kind of like planning phase, really. So it's not really too much that Unity could have changed, you know, but Rogue definitely have a responsibility, I guess, to kind of like align itself well with, you know, the other games. And it's not an easy task, especially if you're kind of like having such a short time to develop it and write it. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty simple fact that you could have easily looked up, you know, in the matter of like minutes, you know, especially with the resources they have at their disposal. So it's a bit disappointing, you know, because it's supposed to be, you know, a pretty major moment about the game to connect to Unity, and then the connection doesn't really work out of it well. What I love is when Unity gets the blame for not showcasing Shay as an antagonist, as someone that Arno chases down. Like, yeah, I would have also loved to do it, but it's not like Unity could have done anything about it at that point. At that point, they were probably like quality testing, you know, the almost finished game that had been in development for multiple years at that point.
Otku.
Nice viewer, that's good to hear. Glad you're doing well. And thank you for the support as well. I really appreciate it. Chadsley monologuing to and choking out a 4-year-old Connor was always weird to you, just like make him 6 to 10 years older, then it doesn't affect too much of a historical timeline to do that. Yeah, it really showcases how pathetic Chadsley is, you know, that he has to do that and thinks himself superior to, you know, a small child at that point.
Agua get honey, was getting yagonte. Yawa.
I'm the Jahtandi ona. I always see Ranaja get Hoti Nico Rayanda, ne Tinojera ya Ezo de Tiena.
Nexiato deot.
Oh, Niot.
Rat Dokhawa Hagari Hunya.
Oh, the student becomes a master. Isn't that nice to see? Alright, one more mission for sequence 4 here.
Agaderian dare dizardi hoye was onojera dia garha gunchedeweta. Onojera dia deatia jaranire ne oya ganyoke haga ziwaderio. Uma wasundade donzaderi hua zeraguase. Yohunjanorunge yungwadena dayan danune amha arjungwaderi wayani ne Ayatia se Doni Sege Undruhunza.
Arahaja Zidogane Gando, Ayatiri Hune Kiswas, Saha Odisas Tasirayanda.
Yungwadora is in a to Naya de Wayer Hage. Yungwayat dodar he un Zino Gayera ne de Tiswa Neda. Danu ne dogat to no de Wayere Yot deru Ayungwajonha se.
Onujera Zitoni Orihuana ne I the Wada Den Hodu. Onahoda Tiga.
Gani hoha.
Yane?
Greetings, Guardian.
Are you a spirit?
You may think of me as such.
Where am I?
You are where you were before. If you mean to ask what it is you now see, it is known as the Nexus. From here, probabilities are calculated so that the proper path may be chosen.
What path?
Yours. Follow me.
What have you done to me?
Selected a form familiar to your culture. It is designed to ease navigation. We have waited millennia for your arrival. You, who will bring to him the last piece, that he may open the door.
I do not understand.
Nor need you. I sense my words cause pain. But such was not my intention. You are important, child, in more ways than you will ever know.
Ta tune tigaro nugwe. Easy na gahanda di tunas. Gariwe siwa gaderiandere. Tanu ize ki oni. Arahaja ziza detni go rizo ne dosa aseri wayena.
Yungwar haratstone ayadewa dunhunjanuna. Nexti da sheri de nipnise. Deot danyu haje hunjage dano ya taundo ayungwa da se dunhage.
Ya ka atakitskoda tanu agader harda dene ayada wanda ne.
Wakunya dodari sigi. Owadu era osete.
Ohnu jerati desaderi wadenyani.
Aze gaya tak gweni daguri huadeni. Yahasa giga. Asetari jina hoda ze sakstit kada kunegans. Tonu e dagatka tone gari huayernitsto. Ne egi garun wera hawi o yashnena zinio zizatnista hawa shagoshnena.
Yama.
Serdia sadoga, nekti gets hani sudzi ezos are harde. Was sezakane gari huayronitstu, satahatsari.
And the soundtrack in this game is so good.
Leaving home was harder than I thought. I expected the journey would fill me with a sort of pride, a sense of accomplishment. But whatever it was that carried me away from home soon fled, replaced by questions, and no small amount of doubt. Had I been too hasty? Had I made a mistake? The others in the village, they thought this was something I wanted, something I chose to do. But it never felt that way to me. No, it was not a choice. It was an obligation. Because if not me, then who?
Maybe the cougar. That's who. Brother had a few too many mushrooms. Yeah, that's really what happens when you see the Nexus and talk to the first civilization. It's an actual overdose of mushrooms. This one is a bit tricky because sometimes you end up trying to jump over there to grab the trinket, but you still end up just dying because you're not supposed to go here from that side, I think. Let's still try it. Hey, it worked. I take it. Because I kind of want to find all the trinkets in the game so we can do all the packed leg missions, so this one is one of the trickier ones to get here. So it's good to get it early. New England Hunting Society. This club was founded in 1770 by several trappers who earned their living in the area, including Simon Girty. The idea was to have a cabins that would be a safe haven and warm place to rest for colonists who spent the season trapping in this part of the frontier. According to the records, as many as 24 hunters used the buildings at any one time. Although it originally started out as just a shared cabin space, it quickly evolved into a more formalized society. Human nature being what it is, hunters would brag about their kills around the fire and exaggerate. After the several brawls over who could claim the title of the mightiest hunter, society members agreed to start logging their kills in writing. Though why they thought this would prevent people from lying is beyond me. It didn't. Sad really. By the way, yesterday I caught a Velociraptor. Oh yeah, Sean? Well, I caught a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh yeah, we could sell some pelts here early on. There's actually a challenge for trading 500 pounds worth of pelts here, or like animal goods. That should do it. I feel like the original is a lot foggier than the remastered. I don't remember there being so much fog in the remaster. And honestly, I kinda like it in the original. Definitely adds to the atmosphere.
After him!
Okay. Talk about atmosphere and immersion. Or riding against an invisible wall, all of a sudden he's teleported. So I had to look away for them to actually catch up, so they could actually teleport. Because every teleportation is supposed to happen, you know, out of what you're seeing. It was kind of funny.
Hello.
Hello.
You must be one of them native fellas from the, what's it called? Iroquois tribe. Aye. You from that?
Course not, Terry. Iroquois ain't a tribe.
Is so.
Is not. The Iroquois is a confederation.
Confederate what now?
Confederation, ya Tony. It's a group, an alliance. Lots of different kinds of people all united.
Right. Like I said, a tribe.
Listen, you toddy-headed twiddlepoop. There's a difference between a tribe and a confederation, and it's not my fault your skull's too thick to make sense of it.
Who you calling a twiddlepoop, you crump-back scab? Hey now, this is between me and him.
Yeah, mind your business.
Nice. I have a feeling that they're both gonna give us a nice amount of insults to record here. It's also funny, in the remaster they don't fight each other. They just look at you, be like, this is not concerning you. You know, the fact that they're actually fighting and then saying it, that's another layer to it. Given that they're already hostile to each other, so it lessens the kind of like hostility towards us, I think. It just like generally pissed off. But yeah, in the remaster they don't fight.
This is between me and him.
Yeah, mind your business.
And I feel like, you know, even though it's like a small thing, and actually it's an important thing because it's not the only time that you see them fighting. So this kind of like establishes the fact that they're, you know, easily getting into like a scuffle. It's really interesting, like small things the remaster, you know, didn't have. Now that I've played the remaster so many times over the last couple of years, it kind of like sticks out a bit more. Oi, Twitter poop. Yeah, they have some good insults in this game. They're quite funny, both of them. They look tiny from that angle. It's interesting how, like, standing a bit further to the top and looking from a certain angle, you know, can create that perception.
What? I was told you could train me.
No. Go away.
I'm not leaving!
Yeah, not so successful there. Yet. Achilles Davenport. You may not think it to look at him now, or how, but this man was once a mentor of a powerful branch of the Assassins, the Colonial Brotherhood. Achilles' life before he was an assassin isn't well documented, It seems that most of the records were destroyed when the Templars nearly wiped off the Order in 1763. From what I do have, Achilles was recruited into the mid-1730s and became a mentor in 1746. He had a gift for both recruitment and organization, so before long was head of a crew of assassins that spanned the colonies and much of the frontier. Achilles strengthened the ties between the Order and the nations of the Iroquois Confederacy, particularly the Kani and Kahaka. Though as far as our records show, Connor is the first Native American to actually become an assassin.
I need a place to camp. This should do. There must be another way in. Please, all I ask is a moment of your time.
I apologize if I've been unclear or otherwise confused you with my words. It was never my intention to mislead, so let me try to clarify. Get the hell off my land.
Coming up!
Just so freaking funny how stubborn Ratonarkedon is. Like, natural next step, you know, it's like climbing the building.
Just hear me out. What are you so afraid of?
Afraid? You think I'm afraid of anything? Least of all a self-important little scab like you? Or you might dream of being a hero, of riding to rescues, of saving the world. But stay this course, and the only thing you're gonna be is dead. The world's moved on, boy. Best you do too.
I will not leave, do you hear me? I'm never leaving. Just wait, old man.
I really like that hat that Achilles is wearing, because I made sure to kind of give him that assassin beak.
I will not be defeated so easily.
You know, at the front, which is kind of like a nod to like classic assassin iconography. You know, the assassin hood often was kind of like shaped like a beak. So that in the shadow, you know, would look like an actual shadow of a ego. But yeah, to kind of like, you know, really give it that kind of like look of a bird, I guess.
These are square toes. This'll be easy.
That's what you said last time, and I wound up with a dead horse and a dark eye.
Who are you?
No one you need concern yourself with, little britches.
Best cut for something bad happens.
No.
Can't say we didn't warn ya.
I like how it's just like, no.
Oi! You're only making things worse.
Why are you here? What do you want?
Best ask the boss man.
You working for the old man, then? That it? Maybe this'll get you talking. Oh. Thank you.
Clean this up. Then I suppose we should talk.
Maybe also clean yourself up. It was a bit bloody just then. But yeah, it's crazy to think that Connor is still, or Ratana Keton is still just a teenager here. And dealing with, like, you know, grown as soldiers. Like an absolute beast. No wonder, you know, he is kind of like such a combat machine later on in his life. Often considered, you know, one of the best fighters in the series.
Sorry.
Not your fault. This whole place is ready to come down. Goddamn miracle it hasn't already. Anyway, who are you?
My name is Rado Hangado.
Right. Well, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Now, tell me why you're here.
I was told to seek this symbol.
Do you even know what that symbol represents? Or what it is you're asking for?
No.
And yet, here you are.
The spirit said that I am...
These spirits of yours have been harassing the assassins for centuries. Ever since Ezio uncorked the bottle. But you don't even know what an assassin is, do you? Well, best settled in then. I've got a story to tell, and it's gonna take a while to get it all out.
Bit of a storm outside.
And so, this is why the assassins have dedicated themselves to the pursuit of the Templars. Because if they succeed, your spirit's visions will become reality.
Then I will stop them.
Oh, I have no doubt you'll try. Come on, I've something to show you. Careful. Wasn't a joke when I said this place was coming apart.
Why don't you repair it?
What's the point? Besides, I don't have materials for the job.
So buy them.
Look at me. You think I can just march into some store, purse full of pounds, and go shopping?
Yes. Why not?
So naive.
Indeed, Oliver.
This way.
An absolute animal. You could say a beast.
Don't think you can just come in here, throw those on, and call yourself an assassin.
I did not. I would never presume...
That's all right. I know they've a certain allure. Very well. I'll train you. Then we'll know if you've the right to wear those robes.
Thank you.
Name's Achilles. Come on, then. We've work to do.
You are a speck of dust, a nothing. You and all your kind, living in the dirt like animals, oblivious to the true ways of the world.
What do the Templars want?
What they've always wanted. Control. They see an opportunity in the colonies. A chance for new beginnings, unfettered by the chaos of the past. This is why they backed the British. Here they have a chance to illustrate the merits of their beliefs, a people in service to the principles of order and structure.
I have seen what is to come if they succeed. They have to die, don't they? All of them. Even my father.
Especially your father. He's the one holding the whole thing together.
So I trained. In running, in climbing, in fighting, in falling. And for every lesson that concerned the body, there were two that concerned the mind. Language, philosophy, logic, the arts. Achilles taught most often of the assassins and Templars, their structures, origins, and purpose. Centuries of history condensed into a few short days. I told him of the men who had burned my village, of Charles Lee, and my promise to him. Achilles explained that Lee and his followers were Templars, and that they were led by none other than my own father. If I was to serve the order, these men would become my targets. So I worked harder, learned faster, but for all my progress, it was clear that I still had much to learn. My training had only just begun.
And that's a pretty late winter here. So it's supposed to be 6 months later, which would be like early March now of 1770. So we move into the next year here. And yeah, this is actually the 5th of March. And still quite a deep winter here, one could say.
Nice evening. Good morning.
To you as well. You taking a trip?
I've decided to do something about the house, and you're going to help me. Get in.
I love how awkward Connor is in these like small talk situations, you know, you can really tell that he's like adapting and trying to learn. But definitely doesn't come natural to him. But the others would say, he's so bland, you know. He doesn't know how to be charming and funny.
Sorry.
Come on.
Not understanding that this is a totally new world to him here.
This place is incredible. The people, the sounds and smells. I could walk these streets for days and know not even half its wonders.
I thought the same as you upon a time. These days, I much prefer the quiet of the countryside.
But there is so much life here. So many opportunities.
The old meeting house. The bells in the church rang out in the hours leading up to the Boston massacre, as crowds were gathering to taunt the soldiers in the front of the State House. In Boston at the time, church bells were rung when there was a fire, so people ran into the streets to see what was happening. That swelled the crowd, making tensions between the people and the British soldiers that much worse. It ended, of course, with the soldiers firing into the crowd, killing 5 people. And this concludes our lesson on how church bells could be used to incite riots in colonial America. The Davenport Homestead. This lovely little collection of buildings was the headquarters for the original assassin order of the colonies, a modest masyaf, if you will. Sometime during the 7 Years' War, the Templars made the move and destroyed it during the assassin witch hunt. By which I mean there was a witch hunt for assassins, not that there were assassin witches. Are you sure about that? Seems to me like Assassin's Creed Codename Hexe could be about assassin witches. Achilles survived the attack and stuck around to keep the manor standing, barely, by the looks of it. Once Connor came along, it flourished again for several decades, even surpassing its former glory. Then it suddenly vanished early in the 19th century. Any manor that can suddenly vanish is both interesting and unsettling in the same measure, or probably not a great investment. There's also an update for Charles Lee. Okay, so this is kinda for later. You know, this already talks about the years 76 and 75 and stuff. We're currently in 1770. I'm gonna wait here until we actually reach that point in history. It's not really relevant to what's right now happening here.
For a few, my boy. For a few. There's a store close to here. You're to buy the items on this list. Tell them where the carriage is, and they'll see that it's loaded. Understood?
Yes.
Good. You're also going to need a new name. Your skin is fair enough that you might pass for one with Spanish or Italian blood. Better to be thought a Spaniard than a native. And both are better still than I.
That is not true.
What's true and what is aren't always the same.
What would you call me then?
Connor. Yes, that will be your name. All right then, off you go.
love it moment between, you know, Achilles and Connor. When Achilles is talking about, you know, the place of, you know, black people at this point in time. With slavery, you know, still being very much at large here. And, you know, how idealistic Connor is, you know, just naturally through his upbringing, you know, he doesn't think that anyone is lesser than another person, you know, based on how they look like. But, yeah, unfortunately that isn't, you know, the reality for lots of people. But yeah, that's why I kind of like Achilles' response, you know, saying what's true and what is aren't always the same. The Old State House. This building housed the Massachusetts government from 1713 to 98. Before the Revolution, that would have meant the governor, his advisors, and the elected assembly. Of course, by elected, I mean elected by white male property owners, since they were the only people that had the right to vote. The assembly also had rather limited power. The governor had a veto over anything they decided, and on occasion dissolved the assembly when they didn't vote his way. Less a governor, more a dictator. In 1967, a gallery was installed above a meeting floor here, so the general public could watch the legislature at work. This was a very novel idea at the time. Of course, some of the representatives probably regretted the decision later, when crowds used the area to heckle those who voted pro-British. Then again, perhaps there was a point all along. The government moved out of the building to a bigger space in 1798, and the old building was turned over to the merchants, including a wine cellar and a wig maker, making it the colonial equivalent of a shopping mall, though one that mainly dealt in wine and wigs. Yeah, what more could you need, right? Would you like some wine to your wig? Thank you for follow Rosefire and welcome in. A letter? For me?
You have my everlasting gratitude, sir.
There's a letter here. There's a letter here.
Thank you.
And they were not cheap, let me assure you. Damn permanent.
A letter?
Thank you.
If value's what you seek, travel no further this day. You found it.
I'll even extend my famous one-week warranty to ensure satisfaction.
What blazes is he doing?
The early warranties. I'm sure you can trust them.
grow tired of this.
The Stamp Act. Date passed March 22nd, 1765. The Stamp Act was the British government's attempt to recoup some of the money they spent during the French and Indian War by taxing the American colonists who theoretically benefited most from it. Parliament chose the stamp tax because it was simple, easily implemented, and the colonists couldn't smuggle their way out of paying it. All papers from newspapers to legal documents to lawyers' licenses would need to purchase a government stamp to be used. Colonists, however, didn't think Britain had the right to tax them at all, since there were no colonial representatives in Parliament, hence the snappy revolutionary slogan, "No taxation without representation." They also resented the suggestion that they were responsible for Britain's war debts, since the colonial militia had a huge role in fighting and winning the French and Indian War. Huge public protests were organized, run by groups who called themselves the Sons of Liberty. Merchants declared a boycott of British goods. Perhaps most importantly, the people assigned to collect the tax were threatened and intimidated into resigning. The Massachusetts stamp distributor was even paraded through Boston by the Sons of Liberty and forced to resign at the Liberty Tree. No stamp taxes were ever collected, and British repealed the Stamp Act in March 1766. But it wasn't an entire victory for the colonies. Parliament then passed something called the Declaratory Act, essentially stating that Britain had the absolute right to tax the colonists, and there wasn't anything the colonists could do about it. Nothing, that is, except start their own country. I've always fancied doing that. Which is funny because, the database is written by Sean, and Sean is acted by Danny Wallace, I think is his name. And that dude is a writer, and he also wrote a book about how he started his own country, which is something he actually did. It's kind of like, more like a bureaucratic kind of like task, really, But yeah, he did go ahead and sign up for a new country. And he also asked people to join his country as citizens. And he did it as kind of like a social experiment, I guess. But yeah, that's a nod to what, the actor playing Sean, who writes a database in lore, has, done. So it's like a pretty huge meta commentary here, actually. But yeah, pretty cool. But I think it might actually be called How to Start Your Own Country or something like that. The book. Hello again, Rose Farah. The AC3 was the first game played that got you hooked on the Assassin's Creed games. That's really cool. Yeah, I always fondly remember my first ever experience with Assassin's Creed as well. And I think whatever game, is the one you're first playing is definitely gonna have a special, place for oneself. But yeah, AC3 is definitely a good one to start with. Quite like this game a lot. And the setting and the story. Yeah, Oliver. Assassino.
Assassino!
Assassino! Assassins!
Assassins. The Pocket Boroughs. One of the issues surrounding the American Revolution was the colonies had no representatives and thus no say in British Parliament. To add insult to the injury, some parts of the United Kingdom that had no actual residents did have seats in the Parliament. This essentially meant landowners could give cushy government appointments to whomever they wanted. These areas were known as pocket boroughs, because the landowner had them in his pocket or rotten boroughs. A fun game is to guess why. One of the worst examples was the borough of Old Sarum, which had no voters and 2 seats in parliament. However, it wasn't the only one. Pocket boroughs were numerous, and as of 1761, it's estimated that 250 of the 558 parliamentary boroughs were under this kind of patronage. And the problem wasn't really corrected until the late 19th century. So when the colonists were complaining that the British government was hopelessly corrupt, they had a point.
Each day a new tax is levied, a new rule enforced, all without our consent.
You lost?
I need the items on this list.
Will you be paying with coin or trade? Some of these things I have, some I don't. Lumber's hard to come by since my supplier up and vanished. I have the tools and pitch, though. Nails, too. So, where do you want this delivered?
Our wagon is near the State House.
He definitely changed his demeanor quick there when he spotted the money.
I should return to Achilles.
Everyone stands in Parliament come with us. For New York, for Virginia, no one. But Old Sarum is represented. And Newport, and Newtown, Seaford, and Saltash. The list goes on. Rotten boroughs, one and all. And yet, there are men who speak for them. These places... What has become of the rights of Englishmen? Are we not entitled to have a say in our governance? Who are they to silence our voices, to insist we be represented by strangers? Have you forgotten the Stamp Act and how we responded? We spoke up. We resisted, so they stood down. We were heard, and it was repealed. But now too many are silent, or worse, they excuse it. The taxes are not so high, they say. The money is put to good use, they say. Fie, I say. Fie, we should all say. Though the taxes may be small, they were enacted and enforced without our consent. As to their use, they pay governors and judges. And if it's Britain pays them, it's Britain to whom they are beholden, not us. Do none see the danger here?
I think it was Arno Dorian's voice actor. He voices a few kind of like side characters and NPCs in this game. The first one he voiced was Kata, the torturer working for one of the targets that Haven eventually ends up killing. Bunch of Grapes. This was one of the meeting places of the Sons of Liberty. The attraction of this particular tavern may have been the library, which included many anti-British books, or might have been its reputation as the finest punch house in Boston, or might have even been its location, which is right down the street from the old State House, where the legislature met and where the Boston Massacre occurred, or might have been Dart's Night. While I'd love to use the fact that the Patriots met in taverns to imply all kinds of things about them, I should point out that the taverns were places to do business as well as drink, and that alcohol was viewed as, more or less, the cure for all ills. You're waiting for a punchline, but that's actually true. Those are the kind of doctor's orders I crave. I'm sure you do, Sean. I'm sure you do.
We're headed to the customs house to toss some quips at the lobsters. James, Sam, come on. We're going to ruffle some redback feathers.
What happened?
That's what we're going to find out.
To King Street. We'll show
Follow
them.
me.
Down to the customs house for a spree.
The Loyalist. were colonists who sided with the British during the Revolution. They were also known as Tories, Royalists, and Kingsmen, and probably also by their enemies as those bloody ass-kissing ninny hammers, among other things. While being a loyalist might seem to you like the bad guys, that's only because you know the Patriots won. It's very easy to use history to look smart, even if you were subjected to the American education system, and system is a strong word. So he's talking to Desmond, right? And in a way, I guess the most of the player base being, you know, maybe from the United States. In fact, by some estimates, as many as 1 in 5 colonists were actively loyalists, and many more tried not to pick a side altogether. I expect the version of the story you've heard goes something like this. The loyalists were traitors who betrayed their fellow Americans to the British. That's a nice little fiction, since from a loyalist perspective, the opposite was true. The colonies were founded and owned by Britain. The colonists were therefore British citizens. Thus the rebels trying to disobey the king were the real traitors here. Aha, you see? You're a country of traitors. Try spinning that. You'd also have to be pretty brave to be a loyalist, particularly if the people in your community were patriots. Known loyalists were frequently dragged from their homes, beaten, burned with candles, or tarred and feathered. But just in case you suffered from the delusion that the patriots always took the moral high ground. Patriots were colonists who united against the British government in the Revolutionary War. Although at the time of the Revolution, patriot was something of a negative term, what we call patriots today were most likely to be called Whigs, or if you were a loyalist, rebels. The patriot motto was "No taxation without representation," a great phrase for rebel rousing, though a poor choice of catchphrase for, say, a game show host. It's also a phrase that requires a bit of unpacking for a modern audience, by which I mean you, Desmond. The colonies didn't elect representatives to the British legislature, and because of the travel distance between Britain and America, and the distinct lack of aeroplanes, it wouldn't have been practical, and instead patriots wanted to be governed by representatives within the colonies. Of course, the game minimized. Of course they did have legislatures already, but those were rather prone to being shut down by British appointed governors whenever they didn't behave properly. Read to exactly what the governor wanted. It's hard to know how many people in the colonies were patriots. The best guess is between 40 and 45% of the population. The rest were either declared loyalists or people who decided to remain tactically neutral, probably a wise choice, given that both sides were known for seizing the property of their enemies.
I say again, disperse! Congregating in this manner is forbidden!
We're not going anywhere, Bug!
Oi! Why don't you go back to England?
No good can come of this chaos! Return to your homes, and all will be forgiven!
Never!
Not until you've answered for your crimes!
You're right, cowards!
You don't scare us!
Pointing guns and unarmed!
We ain't afraid!
There. Is that my father?
Yes, which means trouble is sure to follow. I need you to tail his accomplice. This crowd is a powder keg. We can't allow him to light the fuse.
But
nothing. Do as I say and go.
Come on, you gosh-gutted coward!
An update here for Haven. Never mind, this is the first time I actually get a database entry here. Really, that's fully based on him being a Templar. Haven Kenway is a Templar who came to the American colonies in 1754. From what we have learned, Kenway was sent here by Grandmaster Reginald Birch with a dual mission: establish his own Templar group to rival the colonial assassins, and search for clues about artifacts related to the first civilization. And when a Grandmaster tells you to do something, you do it, even if it's just a chess Grandmaster. Kenway didn't find the artifacts he was looking for. He did, however, recruit a small dedicated band of Templars. He also attempted to forge a relationship with the cunning Kahaka in the frontier, and one woman in particular, Gatsazio. The two were briefly lovers, and however brief it was enough because Gatsazio, unbeknownst to Haven, ended up raising their son, Connor. I'm guessing it was Kenway who became Grandmaster in the colonies, and therefore the man responsible for the 1763 attack on the colonial assassins. That attack wiped out most of the membership and almost all of our records from that era. It's never been clear exactly what happened in that attack, or how Kenway managed to make it such a complete surprise. In any case, I don't think I like this guy. Sorry to use such strong words.
Shoot at me! Hey, Lobster! Go ahead! Fire your little gun!
You bet that run so bacon faced out, and you shall fight your stiff.
Redcoats everywhere you turn. No more. In out. Boy, you there! What's all the fuss about?
Fire at the townhouse.
You must think we're greenest passage in this proud land in this world, alright.
Sounds good, Oliver. Catch you next time. Thank you for being here. And I hope you have a good night and rest. Make your own luck.
Your plot is ended.
Not quite.
Oh, damn you! Fire!
I need to find Achilles.
Oh, not very convenient. Had to jump into V.
I'm here to help.
Who are you?
Well, just a messenger. Mr. Adams wants a word.
What? Why?
Well, you'll need ask him that yourself. He'll meet you tonight near Faneuil Hall. I suggest laying low till then.
Huh. That's so interesting. I don't think I've had this dialogue in like ages, if ever. With this particular NPC here. I mean, also the chance to actually end up here at this specific spot. I reckon that NPC might spawn on multiple locations to say that. But that's really interesting. You know, in my last couple of playthroughs, it definitely didn't trigger this whatsoever. Really cool. Okay, we have found the Jägers. That's German for hunter. Or hunters. Hessians were German soldiers who were hired by the British to fight in the Revolutionary War. While Hessians technically refer to soldiers who were from the state of Hessen, Kassel, it came to be a blanket term for all of the German mercenaries who fought in the Revolution. The imprecision is easy to understand, of course. When a troop of German soldiers lines up and starts firing at you in a war, only the most misguided of geography nerds would stop to ask where they're from. So, me then. Among the Hessian troops who were sent to fight in the American Revolution were at least 2 units referred to as Jägers. These were light infantry troops, known for being accurate marksmen. Accurate marksmen are very much the best sort of marksmen. The word Jäger also happens to be German for hunter, and early members of the Jäger troops were mainly comprised of experienced foresters. Again, really accurate gunmen who are good at fighting in the woods is exactly the kind of soldier you'd want for a war in the American frontier. Unsurprisingly, this made Jägers the most feared and respected division of the Hessians. The Crown Coffee House. The name of this place is somewhat misleading. It's likely that this coffee house sold more wine than coffee, since coffee was only just becoming popular. I know it's hard to imagine a time where people didn't enjoy the morning cup, but there you are. If we go by the number of bottles they had in stock, this was one of the busiest taverns in Boston, likely because of its location. If you were arriving in Boston by ship in the 1700s, and let's face it, you didn't fly in, this would have been the first tavern you saw, and since taverns were great places to get information, you might well have stopped here for a drink and the latest news. The Boston Massacre. The Boston Massacre was a culmination of several fights between British soldiers and the people of Boston. A group of soldiers fired into a crowd at point-blank range, killing 5. The reality of it is less damning to the British than it sounds. What started as an argument about wigmakers' bill, of all things, turned into a mob. Hundreds of Boston citizens kept 8 British regulars cornered for hours. By the end of it, many were holding clubs, throwing stones, and taunting the soldiers to fire. Captain Thomas Preston was in charge of the regulars and tried to defuse the situation by talking with the crowd. They asked if his soldiers' guns were loaded. He admitted that they were, but it would have been stupid for him to order them to fire, since at the time he was standing in front of them. It wasn't until one of the soldiers was hit by a stone, which forced him to drop his musket, that the regulars fired into the crowd, against the orders of Preston, who later testified he never gave the command to fire. It's possible his men mistook the taunts of the crowd for an order. The regulars were arrested and tried for murder, 6 were acquitted, including Thomas Preston. The other 2 men were found guilty of manslaughter, but had their thumbs branded in lieu of a usual sentence, which was death. One of the interesting things about the massacre is what happened afterward. It is how both sides try to spin it to their advantage. The fact that most people call it a massacre should give you some idea of who won this particular PR war. Revolutionaries portrayed it as an attack on colonial liberties, and images of the event, popularized by Paul Revere, showed an organized British force firing into the crowd, not a confused group of soldiers cornered by an angry mob. The British, on the other hand, referred to the event, the incident on King Street, were naturally calm in a crisis, unlike countries who insist on turning every minor confrontation into a three-ring circus. Anyway, the wigmaker dropped his prices, and it never happened again. I called it a victory for the board. Yeah, so this is like a newspaper article, but I'm gonna skip this here for now. Jesus, how many soldiers? Everyone is on my ass. Dude, where are they all coming from? It's like, Jesus. Like, everyone knows about me, apparently. I have notoriety in this game is really unforgiving sometimes. You know, the fact that these guys are over there and already preparing themselves here for me. Jesus Christ, there's another soldier.
This will not take long.
Glassfoot.
say shoot him.
Well, if I didn't have any notoriety before, now I definitely do.
Over here.
Samuel Adams was a Boston lawyer, a signatory of the Declaration of Independence, and a prominent political figure during the lead-up to the American Revolution. I think that's put your little life into perspective, hasn't it? Adams was born in Massachusetts, the son of another Samuel Adams, who was a well-off merchant. Adams, the younger one, went to Harvard, graduating in 1740. He went into business for himself, but it was a dismal failure and ended up taking a job in the family brewery. A lot of men turn to breweries when their business fails, but in rather different ways. And that was fortunate for his historical legacy, since his relationship to beer may be the only reason most Americans have even heard of him. Adams was elected to the Massachusetts legislature in 1765, which was the beginning of his political career. He was a staunch supporter of the colonist right, mainly the ever-popular arguments over whether British Parliament had the right to impose taxes, but wasn't pro-independence, at least not at first. I think it's fair to say he changed his mind later. Adams is often portrayed as an angry radical, but that's a bit of a biased picture. Adams disliked vigilantism for the most part, though he approved when a mob forced Boston's stamp collector to resign, so perhaps he only disliked some vigilantism. In later years, when Adams was in Congress, he refused even to join a political party because he found the idea divisive, a sentiment which he shared with George Washington, incidentally. However, Adams' reputation for being a rabble-rouser is somewhat understandable. He was a representative of the town of Boston after the Boston Massacre and succeeded in having the regulars kicked out of town. He spoke at the Old South Meeting Hall just prior to the Boston Tea Party, and it's said he gave the signal for the dumping of a tea over some debate over whether he was involved, which I'm happy about, as a gentleman doesn't waste tea. Adams was infamous enough that he had to leave Boston for Lexington in 1775 to avoid arrest by the British, who considered him a troublemaker. When the siege of Boston began, the Massachusetts governor offered to pardon any rebel who would lay down their arms, except Adams and John Hancock. Overall, Adams certainly was a thorn on the side of the British, though what puzzles me is why some Americans think being an angry revolutionary was a bad thing. It got you where you are today, didn't it? Actually, hang about, yes. Maybe I see the point after all.
You're Achilles' boy. Connor, was it? I saw what happened at the townhouse. A fine mess, that.
Who are you?
Samuel Adams, at your service. Achilles asked me to get you out of Boston.
Explain.
The whole city's looking for you.
Oh yay, oh yay! A criminal stalks the streets, wanted in connection with the massacre at the townhouse. Citizens are advised to call the guards if they see him. £10 to whoever brings this madman.
What am I supposed to do?
You can take down these posters for a start. Return to me once you remove the others. Take down those posters and then we'll talk.
stupid.
None can say for certain who fired the first shot, but we now suspect a man of native origin. Many speculate as to why.
I just want to look if there was any kind of like current optional objective, but I guess not.
None can say for certain who fired the first shot, but we now suspect a man of native origin. Many speculate as to why he acted. A show of solidarity with the protesters?
Ah, Connor. There you are. I'd like you to meet Cyrus.
Is he the killer?
Peace. Cyrus is on our side, or rather, for the right price, he will be.
Have you seen this man?
Watch and learn.
Oh yay, oh yay! Word has reached us that the man responsible for today's shooting may have been in disguise. A wig and makeup tin were found near the scene of the crime. Witnesses describe a middle-aged gentleman of pale complexion fleeing towards the wharves, rifle in arm.
Thank you kindly, Cyrus.
Pleasure.
Come on, then. There's still one last bit of work to do.
Where are we going?
To the printer. Where do you think all those posters came from? They're made by a machine. We need to shut it down.
Okay, for a full sync objective, we can't get our notoriety above level 3 here. Or on level 3, I guess.
I can go by rooftop and meet you there. Tunnels?
The Masons have a whole network of them under the city. They're quite useful when speed and secrecy are required.
But yeah, I'm just gonna avoid soldiers altogether as best I can. Can I actually go through the tavern to the other way around? No, I can't. Okay, there's also guys here. I think what we can do though is we can go up here and go behind the guards, and then Samuel should be able to follow us over that way. Like, you should be able to go past these guards. Right? Yeah. He just punches them out of the way. Perfect.
Here we are, then. I'll see you inside. Hold on.
Where are you, Charles?
Maybe he's hiding in one of those tunnels here.
Use your lantern to light the lamps, Connor. They'll help us find our way should we get turned around.
I wonder why they built these tunnels.
That is true. Maybe he's just waiting in a corner. Looking like Gollum, waiting for us.
I can't help but feel this is the wrong direction.
Do you know? I really like the atmosphere in these tunnels, even though they feel like a bit mundane, you know? But,
Excellent. Let us move on.
The atmosphere is really well done. And I like how I can navigate also without the hut quite easily, you know, by having these like signs to see where you have to go. That dude is Samuel Adams, or Sam Adams.
Much as it pains me to say it, we must follow the rats, as they often move in the direction of an exit.
Yeah, I definitely get it. I'm also not the best in remembering names, like all of them.
You were right. I apologize for ever doubting. No wonder Achilles has taken such an interest in you. Arse. I don't suppose lockpicking is part of your repertoire?
Connor's like, hold my lantern.
Well done. The printer isn't far. Let us reconvene there.
Yeah, this game has lockpicking, and in the OG version it's also quite a bit trickier than it was in Remastered. It did simplify it for the remaster. So you only had to press the button like once at the end. But it made it quite frustrating sometimes to actually get, you know, some of the more difficult lockpicks done. From a realism point of view, I really like the mechanic, but from a gameplay point of view, it could definitely get a bit annoying. So much so that on my first playthrough, I kinda left some of the chests completely be.
You could ask.
Dude, why did they stand right in front of the door I have to go in? wanna come along here. Fuck, how many guards? What the fuck? I said this game is just so overboard with like how many guards on your ass. Just for like trespassing to a door, like what? Are you right, Connor? Dear. Well then, try number 2, I would say. I found the one bugged roof in this game after what, 13 years? We've just written history here. But as we like to say at Ubisoft and Abstergo Entertainment, history is your playground. What the fuck? They even attacking me in a cutscene.
You ask a great deal of me, Sam.
I know, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't important, if it wasn't vital.
Fine. Just this once, though. In the future, such things will come at a price. Resetting the type is neither quick nor easy. To say nothing of the cost should I be discovered.
I shall not forget this kindness.
Nor I.
His work will see your last little bit of notoriety erased. Come, I'll show you how to leave now that order's been restored. So, now you've had a chance to see how it all works. Untoward actions will upset the citizens and inevitably lead to the guards being called. Depending on the severity of your transgression, they may simply search a bit before giving up and returning to their post. But should you offend them severely or repeatedly, they'll become much more aggressive in their pursuits. I've shown you 3 ways to turn the tide. Remove wanted posters, bribe town criers, or visit a printer to create your own propaganda.
This feels wrong. Why not just speak to someone and explain my innocence?
You can't be serious.
We counter one...
Come on now. Don't cancel my dialogue here. I want to listen to the whole conversation.
So, now you've had a chance to see how it all works.
Oh, what the fuck game? Are you serious? With these freaking soldiers. You know, meant to be patriots, people on the side of Sam Adams.
Now you've had a chance to see how it...
And of course the restart point is right into their faces. So they're supposed to stand there and guard Sam Adams and the printer shop, right? So they're technically allies to us, according to the story. But because they're guardians of a place, any people who go in there will be attacked, I guess, which includes us. It's a bit stupid. Let me see if I can get straight to the left here without triggering conflict.
So, now you've had a chance to see...
Nope.
Upset the citizens and inevitably lead
Now Sam Adams is even attacking his own people there.
Should you offend them severely and repeatedly, they'll become much more aggressive in their pursuits. I've shown you 3 ways to turn the tide. Remove wanted posters, bribe town criers, or visit a printer to create your own propaganda.
Down to the warehouse?
This feels wrong.
That's the place.
Why not just speak to someone and explain my innocence?
You can't be serious.
We counter one lie with another. Words on paper instantly taken as truth. And all of it without question.
They loose this beast. Or have you forgotten? I merely helped you tame and turn it round.
There must be another way. Something more honest.
Well, when you find it, do let me know. But until then, we sculpt with the clay we have.
My apologies. I do not mean to sound ungrateful.
Quite all right. I was much the same at your age. You'll grow out of it.
And if I do not? If I refuse?
Then you'll likely wind up dead.
Every time I want to replay this game, God shows you why you shouldn't. Yeah, the amount of bugs sometimes can be off the charts. AC3 is definitely one of those games, you know, with like a few issues. Lots of potential, not always the best execution.
Here we are. Speak with the harbor master and he'll see you home.
Thank you for everything, Sam. I promise one day to repay the favor.
Oh, I'm counting on it.
Like this.
Alrighty. So, because it's part of a story here, we're actually gonna take the Harbor Master and travel home this way. It's actually something you have to do as well, I think, as part of a tutorial. How old is Connor here? Well, this is set in 1770. I think he's about 15 years old now. I can actually have a look. Do we have one for him? Okay, he's born 56, so he's gonna be 14 in this year. But he might still be 13 actually. So he's still super young. Ah yeah, so one of the NPCs actually ran to us and told us about the Boston Brawlers, which is like another side activity here. I can't say I've ever understood it myself, but grown men beating each other up has a long and storied history, going back at least to the ancient Sumeria. Modern day boxing began its rise to popularity in the late 17th century. The Boston Brawlers got their start in the dockyards around the middle of the 18th century, but in 1804 they moved into a gym of their own on the north side of Beacon Hill. There they benefited from the wagering dollars of the wealthy socialites living on the hill's south side, who enjoyed nothing more than watching poor people hitting each other in the face for their pleasure. I expect if you impress them enough with your manly prowess, they give you something in return. Perhaps a toaster, or a black eye. When he goes to Achilles, 18 when he formally joins the Assassins. Yeah, think about that. He's technically, I guess, 13 when he goes to Achilles for the first time. And it's this year now when he turns 14. And I'm unsure right now if it's 1770 or 73 when he really joins the Assassins officially. Because in 73 he definitely already has... I think it's 73. But, you know, he really is like more grown and kind of like, you know, getting the Assassin outfit. But that would be 3 years later now. Like 4 years max later after he gets to Achilles, so yeah. Like about 13 at 17 or like 14 at 18, like roughly. $27 by the end of the game. Yeah, the game goes up until 82, I think. So, yeah, it definitely covers quite a bit of Connor's life for sure. As for Haven, he was born in 25. So he's about 45 years old at the moment. The Old North Meeting House. Don't confuse this place with the Old North Church. It's actually a completely different building, which is why it has a different name. This particular meeting house was for the second oldest congregation in Boston, which earned it the alternate name, the Second Church. What an age of endless imagination this was. Get a good look while you can. This wooden building will be torn down in 76 and used as firewood. The church members would tell you it was because the British didn't like them much, and perhaps they have a point, because they still don't. The Reverend Mr. Lettrop was known for his pro-rebel sermons, and tellingly, he and most of the congregation weren't in Boston in 76. I wonder why. After the Old North Meeting House was torn down, Christ Church inherited the prestigious Old North title, becoming the Old North Church that most people know. Is he like 60 by the end? I think like mid to late 50s. If the game ends in 82. Right, so we're gonna take the ship from the Harbor Master back to the Davenport homestead, and that's gonna be the only time we fast travel here as part of like, you know, the story. $57, yeah, that sounds about right. I'm sorry to all the raccoons here, but I need the pelts. There's gonna be lots of hunting done in this playthrough. What a dick move from Achilles to actually leave behind Connor like this. You know, considering Connor is only 13 years old and completely left alone in Boston during the Boston Massacre. With the whole city kind of like, you know, being in uprising.
Welcome back.
You left me in Boston.
The training we've done here is all well and good, but experience is a better teacher by far.
What of my father?
Into the wind, I'm afraid.
We have to find him.
And we will, after the house has been repaired.
But he's out there plotting who knows what.
And what would you do when you found him? If you found him? You're a boy with a few months of training. He's a man, full-grown, who spent decades honing his skills. If you're going to stand a chance against the Templars, you're going to need these. on before I change my mind.
He can wait a bit longer, can't he? Guess Haven didn't need a hook blade, unlike some. He was good without it.
You, sir, please, help! He's going to die!
Ooh.
There's no time! Please, come! Down there! He's just passed under the bridge!
Help me! Please! Someone! Help! Help me! Please! Someone! Someone! Help! Help me! Please! Someone! Help!
What this knobbend is trying to say is he's forever in your debt, sir.
Who you calling? A knob-end?
You, because you are one.
What were you doing on those logs?
One of the dangers of lumbering. We've got the camp set up a few rods off of here as we're cutting timber. We're hoping to open a mill in the area.
There's a good place not far from the manor on the hill where I'm staying.
I like you already. We'll have a look.
Oh yeah. One of my favorite aspects about this game, the homestead. And, you know, getting the homesteaders to live with you and, you know, contribute to the kind of like community. Which then also affects the trading opportunities.
But we can certainly use the wood.
The manor needs a lot of work.
That and other things. Meet me at the small shack by the shoreline when you have time. There's something else you need to see.
What is it?
An asset.
And he's like, I don't know the definition of a word asset. Okay, so this is another homestead mission here, an opportunity. Okay, so I had a look, and that homestead mission is supposed to be in 73, so gonna hold off on that, and we're gonna do the next main story mission, which is also gonna be the last mission for today in this stream, because that will also be the last one before we head back to Liberation. So it's perfect timing really, because then we can, you know, finish the whole part of AC3 here in this one stream. And then in the next stream we can focus the entire stream on, you know, advancing Liberation. Because for Liberation it's gonna be sequence 5 and 6 that we're gonna be starting on. And it's gonna be quite heavy on side content as well.
But I have them. Captain Kidd had a secret, to be sure. Just get me a ship and a crew, and we'll find out what it was he held so dear. I met him once, that captain. He was 7 feet tall if he was an inch. I tell ya, legs like tree trunks and a smithy's arms. Almost broke my hand shaking it'll know. I could feel it then when I met him. No weapon made by man could harm him.
Good old Pegleg. If you give him trinkets, then he tells you about, or he gives you letters about Captain Kidd and the places he visited. Then you can go ahead and investigate those places. Some of my favorite missions in this game, actually. They're kind of like the equivalent to the Assassin Tombs in the older AC games.
Behold, the wintry storms are gone. Behold, the wintry storms are gone. Behold, the wintry storms are gone. Go away!
Say, go away, boy! Do you not speak the King's English?
Oh, I didn't see you there, old man. I'd have set my home in order if I'd known you'd be calling.
The boy's name is Connor. He's here to restore the property.
Restore? Restore? Pardon my manners. She's still the fastest in the Atlantic. Sure, she needs some attention. Minor things mostly, but with a little affection, she'll fly again.
Who is she?
Who is she? Why, the Aquila boy, the ghost of the North Seas.
The boat.
A boat? She's a ship, boy, and make no mistake about it. I thought you brought him here to restore order. I reckon he's the greenest thing on the frontier.
Connor, meet me back at the manor when you've finished here.
You said it requires repairs. You able?
She does need work. A ship is a she, boy. And yes, I can refit her, but I'm lacking in the proper supplies. Some quality timber would help me get started.
I can see to that. How long before she is able to sail again?
Just get me the lumber, boy. I'll raise a crew.
He's fine. Robert Faulkner is probably the most storied member of the Assassin's Navy, though he was never formally named to a position above first mate. Robert Faulkner was the fourth generation of his family to be a seaman. I'm glad I didn't say that out loud, but the first in his family to be recruited to work for the Assassins. He started off in the Royal Navy, but finding his career stalled, partly due to his inability to purchase commissions, he left to work for the United Company of Merchants. In 53, Faulkner disappears from the historical record, presumed dead, but that's because he joined the Assassins as first mate of a flagship, the Aquila. Faulkner was much sought after as a mariner. Recruiting him was quite a coup for the Brotherhood. He had a reputation for having a disciplined crew and an almost uncanny knack for avoiding trouble, not to mention predicting the weather. Whether through years of experience or some other, more mysterious ability, because I totally believe in those, Faulkner would know when a storm or calm patch of sea was coming in and could use it to his advantage. Imagine that, a natural weatherman who could accurately predict the weather. The world would never see his like again. Faulkner served on board of the Aquila until it was nearly destroyed in 1768. Always deferring when asked to become the captain, he never gave his reasons why. However, his love for the ship was quite touching. He had it towed to its location near Boston, despite doubts that it would ever be seaworthy again. Faulkner could have gone back to the sea aboard another ship, but didn't. He stayed close to the ever-deteriorating Aquila and took to drinking, which is where Connor found him. He also plays the first mate in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies to Captain Jack Sparrow. It's the same actor. I think Gibbs is his name there. The Aquila. Don't let this appearances deceive you. You're looking at the former flagship of the Assassin Navy, if perhaps a little past its prime. The Aquila was built in France in 1749 in the city of Brest. Stop it. The design was incredibly innovative for its time. The ship was light, fast, and could carry a surprising amount of artillery for its size. It would be decades before there were schooners that could match the Aquila's speed. Of course, there were some disadvantages to the design, namely that the ship handling was very touchy and required an experienced crew. That meant the Aquila was underutilized until the Assassins hired someone who would be able to use the ship to its full potential, Robert Faulkner. In 1754, the Aquila followed the Templar ship into a storm and was lost with all the hands aboard, or so we wanted the Templars to think. In reality, it sustained only minor damage, was refitted, and became the Assassin's secret weapon, staying out of major harbors, using its speed and the element of surprise to harass ships on Templar business. The Aquila took on mythical qualities. It was whispered about in ports along the eastern seaboard as the ghost of the North Seas, a pirate vessel crewed by ghosts that could appear and disappear into sudden fog. This reputation was due both to Faulkner's uncommon skill and the superstitious nature of most sailors who loved a ghost story and all wanted to marry a mermaid. Eventually the Templars cottoned onto what had happened, but it did take them more than a decade. They weren't the sharpest tools, let's say, in a box full of spoons. In 1768, the ship was caught in a trap by 3 British frigates. The Aquila was able to limp away from the battle, but ran aground in shallow water. The British left it for lost. Robert Faulkner survived the battle and had the ship towed back to a private bay near Boston, where it and Faulkner slowly deteriorated. That is until Connor found them both.
There you are. I've something to show you. Come, take a look.
What is it?
A ledger. It lets us manage the homestead's dealings.
And these?
That was years ago. Before the slow fever, before the Templars, before everything collapsed. But that's all in the past. Better we focus on what's in front of us. Take up the ledger, and I'll teach you how it all works.
The stockpile allows you to purchase items from homesteaders and display the items you currently own. So we have some oak lumber here. We can purchase 3 of them. Then we can leave a stockpile. We can then go to the trading menu and use the available land convoy. And select a merchant, in this case Hancock store number 5 in Boston. And as you can see, we have a risk of 35%, a tax of 30%, and a profit of 21. So barely anything here, but it's just to kind of like, you know, showcase the mechanic. Later on we can make some really good, you know, returns and profits. Especially when you start trading like pelts and clothing and the likes. And you can make use of like having better, you know, risk by securing forts. And also going to different shops and unlocking shops will also make them available in the trading menu. And then different vendors, you know, give you like better money for the resources they kind of like are interested in. So it's actually quite an intricate, you know, trading and crafting system for Assassin's Creed standards. But I quite like it.
Time passed quickly after.
Okay, so I think this is one of those points. Yeah, so this is kind of like a mistake there. The game says 6 months later. In fact, it's 3 years that have passed. And in the monologue that Connor says here at the beginning, it even has a mentioning that several years have passed, you know, which doesn't align with the on-screen display. But yeah, this is a pretty major time skip here, you know, in which Connor has been trained. And that also means that this is kind of gonna be where we will have a cutoff point here. Return to AC Liberation to play Sequence 5 at the beginning of 6, before returning yet again to AC 3 and finish Sequence 5 here. And yeah, carry on in the year 73. But yeah, this is where we kind of have to exit here, because everything starting from this point forward is set in the year 73. Also, hello Vagislek, welcome in, dude. Thank you so much for the raid. And welcome in, raiders. How was your stream today? What did you play? Sorry about the timing, but we're just about to call it for today. I just got finished with my kind of like segment, I guess, of AC3. So that in the next stream we can start with the next liberation part. Trains? Sweet transit? So what, is it like a train simulator? Or something? So yeah, for anyone who hasn't checked out Gistek's channel, there's a shout out in chat. He's playing a bunch of different games, but one of the more recent games he's played is Assassin's Creed Shadows, for example. Played that on launch, and he also did a run focusing on Norway. And he also played the new Digimon game recently, and now a game called Sweet Transit. It's like a city builder centered around connecting several settlements via railroads. Ah, gotcha. So like city builder then. I mean, that sounds nice. I hope it's been a fun one so far. Time Stranger is so good, by the way. Nice, dude. Yeah, I heard good things about it. I actually saw like a YouTube review about it, and they've definitely been happy about, you know, how it turned out. But that's great. I'm glad that you've been enjoying it so far. That it's been, you know, worth the purchase. But yeah, so this is gonna be where we will call it tonight for AC3. But yeah, really good timing, as you got, you know, everything in this current segment of AC3 covered, so we didn't have to like split the stream or something. Gonna go and let me have a look if they're still actively streaming here. Yeah, okay. So Mita is still playing some Cyberpunk. He's currently playing through the Phantom Liberty DLC, and it's his first time ever playing through the game. He's also doing it as a completionist run. And yeah, I really loved Cyberpunk a lot when I played it, so curious to see how he's enjoying the, you know, DLC so far, which I actually haven't played yet. No worries of the stream, Shilla. Thank you for being here, dude. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of the evening. That's a verse of a shout out, Iva Schiller. Oh, you're gonna be playing some Ghost of Tsushima? Is it? Is that gonna be your first time playing through the game? Ah yeah, it is, isn't it? That's really cool. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to see you play that game. I so love Ghost of Tsushima a lot. I can't wait to play Ghost of Yotei eventually either. But yeah, no worries of a shout out, Shilla. I'm looking forward to catch you play some of that. Absolutely, Gislek. Definitely do. Always a good time over at Shilla's channel. We're getting Yotei when it goes on sale because I picked the wrong release month and VCE does not have a physical copy. Yeah, definitely understandable too, but I mean, it looks like it's more of the same like Ghost of Tsushima, so it's probably not something that you have to like play immediately necessarily. Probably well, you know, worth waiting a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm very much still looking forward to play the game. even if it's, you know, very similar. Same here, Schiller. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until PC release, which hopefully won't be too long. That's true, Gisek. It has beer and guns and an ultra big sword. That's all you need, really, and is a direct upgrade from Ghost of Tsushima. Alright, so we're about to raid out Termita. Feel free to copy and paste those raid emotes, and yeah, I will catch you guys next time for the continuation with AC Liberation in Sequence 5. Until then, have a good rest of your evening, and I'll catch you guys next time.